battle for survival begins. Engage. Get ready to kick butt. Engage.
What's going on out there, junkies? It's your boy Kenshiro. We're back with another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. Today we're going to be talking about a myriad of few things about that's going on in genre entertainment. One being the creator of Star Wars feels backstabbed by Disney. Does he regret selling to them after all this time, given all the backlash? Also, we're going to talk about some of the latest breaking news from Crisis on Infinite Earths, some of the casting announcements, but also one very important casting announcement that didn't happen. I ran across the most disrespectful cartoon tiering list imaginable, so we'll discuss that a little bit. But joining me, my boy is Great Datakuchi and GQ. What's up, guys?
Hello.
The moon is in the
boy.
sky. Death Star might be out there somewhere.
Find whoever made that list and target their house and execute with extreme prejudice. Extreme prejudice.
It does seem kind of wacky.
Yeah, man. So how's everybody been doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Any new news?
New news not from myself. I guess most
Just
of
in
the
general.
Most of the stuff I guess we're talking about. I mean, I guess news for me. I finally finished Bloodstained, and for all you video game junkies out there, if you have not purchased Bloodstained, if you are a fan of Castlevania, Metroid, or the such put together the what do you call it,
Metroidvania games? No?
Metroidvania,
No?
the portmanteau. I can't remember that word that says you take two words and you put them together. You should pick up Bloodstain and play through it. It is really good. It's not as good as Symphony of the Night, I would have to say, even though it's made by what's his name, Kogi Igarashi. It's last name Igarashi.
Igarashi.
Yeah, it is good though. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think anything can really top Symphony of the Night at the moment when it comes to Metroidvania games. I mean, there are some other really good ones out there, but I recommend Bloodstain. I recommend playing it. I recommend, probably getting it on PlayStation 4. I mean, Xbox One, I guess you can get it for that one as long as you get it for the super tiered versions of each system, because I definitely ran into some slowdown issues on PlayStation, on the base model PlayStation 4. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why is the frame rate dropping significantly? So that game apparently pushes the limits, or if you are a PC junkie out there, which I know some of you are.
PC Master Race. There is no such thing as...
now.
You're going to call them PC junkies?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I got a powerful PC, but my brain can't. I don't know what it is. I think it's just having physical copies of stuff. Because, for example, Shenmue 3 is coming out, right?
Right.
You can get a physical version of Shenmue 3 for PC, but you know what the PC physical version is? It's just the Epic Keys, Epic store, that is. It's kind of like Steam, but it's through Epic, where you pop it into your CD-ROM drive for whatever reason. Most people nowadays, from my understanding, don't have, CD-ROM drive, DVD-ROM drive.
They are, no.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Most PCs now don't even ship with them. And even when I do builds, because I love building PCs as a hobby. Like when I have the money, of course. But when I have the money, having an optical drive is literally the furthest from my mind. I download everything as far as PCs go.
Well, most definitely. I mean, my PC that's here is more powerful than the PC that's over by my my consoles and whatnot, just one generation under, whereas this one is running a 1080, 1080 Ti, I think it is. The other one is running the 970, and I think the 970 is not bad because I loaded up Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I think is the second one, and it was running beautifully on that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
Shadow of
like,
the Tomb Raider is the second. Yeah.
the second one, and it looked,
It looks gorgeous.
damn near
It
flawless on the
really good.
970. So I may just swap out the ones in here because I don't really sit here and play PC games too often, except for Doom. For whatever reason, that's how my brain works. Doom is a PC game. I played it on PC for the first time. Yes, I played it on consoles like the PlayStation 32X and the Nintendo 64 back in the day. But for whatever reason, I don't want Doom on a console now, and I managed to get it on the PC, and I still can't play the damn thing. Because
I have to admit, it's something about using a mouse and a keyboard with doing a lot of these things.
Yeah, for first-person shooters, it does seem very...
Yeah.
It just feels better, even though I'm not that great at first-person shooters. Even though I just found this out most recently at our last video game night that we had, our fight night. Before everything was going on, one of our friends, Mike, had his Xbox One there, and you could hook a keyboard and mouse up to Xbox One and play certain games. Like Fortnite was being played, and I was like, I did not know you could do that
on 360s too. I remember they did have
really?
Yeah, I remember that you used to be able to do that. Oh, right. Father Marvel's right. Rise of the Tomb Raider was the second one. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the last one.
Yeah, then it's Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I mistakenly bought for the Xbox One and also for my PC because I didn't know I had it already. That's what happens, kids, when you have too many games. You spend way more than you should. And thus, I have come to this decree again. Next year, 2020, I will not be buying any more games. I'm going to play what I have for an entire year again.
Famous last words. We'll see. All right.
Did it 2018. I can do it again.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sure. With Final Fantasy 17 coming out. Okay.
Oh yeah, right. No. Okay, excuse me. My birthday is coming out. Will be around the same time that's out, and I may make an exception for that single game.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So hey guys, welcome to the show. I want to say hi to Sharita Jackson out there watching the show. Some of our Jamal Taylor. What's up? Glad to have you back, my friend. Glad to have you back. Welcome back to the Junkie Nation. So I got a interesting topic to discuss with all of you out there in Junkie Nation. And if you're interested in old school cartoons, please do share the stream and invite all your friends in here. Because we got to get to the bottom of this. So I ran across a meme today, and it divvied up some of the best in cartoon history into 5 tiers: S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. So I want to run through this list for you guys, right? So I'm gonna start with D tier. So D tier being the bottom, right? Kids Next Door, Doug. Nickelodeon's Doug, Disney's Gargoyles.
Oh wow!
Shaolin Showdown, which used to be on Kids WB. That's all in the D tier, right? Already we got problems, right? Because Gargoyles in D tier, that's unfathomable. Okay, so C tier: Static Shock, Eek the Courage the Cowardly Dog. Excuse me. Avatar: The Last Airbender is C tier.
What?
Yeah. Jackie Chan's Adventures is also C tier. Now, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about Jackie, but Avatar, come on now.
Avatar, damn, it's S tier. I don't care what nobody.
Right. So B tier: Samurai Jack, Ed, Edd and Eddy, the Animaniacs, and the original Teen Titans. No Go. No, none of that, baby Teen Titans, none of that. No, just regular Teen Titans. That's the B tier. So here's the A tier. A tier: Recess, Powerpuff Girls, Batman the Animated Series, and Justice League. That's the A tier, right? That doesn't seem so bad. Although you can definitely make the argument that Avatar needs to be in the A tier, definitely not C tier. And Gargoyles definitely should not be in D tier. But here's the S tier. Here's the S tier. S tier: Spider-Man, Darkwing Duck, X-Men, and Captain Planet.
Nope.
So S tier being the very top, you gonna put Spider-Man, Darkwing Duck, X-Men, and Captain Planet. Captain Planet alone over Batman the Animated Series and Justice League?
Nope.
Excuse me? What do you guys think of this list? Or this meme?
Well, first off, this list is made by the same idiots that always make those other lists and put September as the worst possible choice on whatever list they are. So it's made by those same idiots.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll just leave it at that.
I agree. That's all you got to say about it? Like,
well, no, realistically, Batman should be S tier. Justice League should be S tier. You can get rid of Captain Planet off the list completely.
I mean,
the majority of these cartoons you can actually get off the list. Animaniacs is good. Gargoyles is good. I don't really care about Avatar personally. Recess is never
watched
really.
It. Bro,
No, I've watched it. I don't care about it.
Oh my god!
I watched the whole series with my nephew when he was a kid.
Really?
I never really liked it.
The whole entire thing.
Really? Yep. And you never really liked it? What?
You couldn't find something to like in that? That I find that extremely hard because a lot of stuff that you and I have had personal conversations about in that anime, they were doing stuff and it would have drawn you in. Typically or specifically the genocide that happened in it.
No, I understand all of that, but you got to remember, if you're watching something with a young kid and you're basically watching it because they want to watch it, it's not as much fun, regardless of the subject matter. I still like Ninja Scroll. I still like Fist of the North Star.
Okay, we get that. Okay, we get that. We get that. Those are more adult themed, animated properties. We're talking just strictly from the cartoon side of things. Like if you were a kid again, like how much would you have enjoyed Avatar: The Last Airbender before you ever saw Ninja Scroll or anything like that? Like. You gotta admit,
before Ninja Scroll.
Well, I saw Ninja Scroll before I saw Avatar, and they're not even in the same type of subject. Ninja Scroll is a really good anime. It told a story, fairly well. Had lots of freaking violence and all that stuff in there, and it's not even the same category as Avatar. Avatar is a wonderfully written show, great character development. It had a great, just the themes that was going on with it was pretty adult, even though they tried to shape it a lot for kids. They did a really darn good job with
like
that.
I said, I agree with all of that. I just personally don't like it.
Oh, okay.
That's how that series
that's
goes.
his preference. No one should knock anybody for not.
No, you can knock all you want. That's part of the fun of being alive.
I don't understand it. Don't have to understand it. Whatever.
I don't understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but okay, his opinion's his opinion. But come on, anybody putting Captain Planet in S tier? Come on.
No, Captain Planet was garbage.
It is. Yeah, it was the same damn thing over and over again. It didn't teach anybody a goddamn thing because all those kids that there's tons of kids that watched it and maybe a few of them and I touched them. Oh, they pick up the garbage.
GQ, why don't you answer Jamal Taylor's question?
That's what I was actually about to do. Jamal, you actually can watch Ninja Scroll with kids. You just have to let them know what's going on. Secondly, I ain't really worried about no kids. I don't got no kids. I don't got no kids to take care of. I do what I want to do when I want to do it, how I want to do it. So kids can leave the room.
Hey man, look, the corruption of the youth always begins at a very young age. So why not show them Ninja Scroll and just get it out of the way? Because half of them little brats watched Friday the 13th or some other movie like staying up late at night, and all this other kind of stuff. Oh, and Fallen Marvel asks a very, very poignant question. What in the hell did Mati ever really do?
He just gave
with that heart ring.
He made them love each other. He was the guy that started all the orgies.
First of all, Mati was a garbage character. I don't care if they had to bring him in there for more representation.
Yeah,
heart is not an element.
No, it's not.
To me, that was the dumbest part of that to begin with. I'm like, okay, earth, wind, water, fire, blah, blah, blah. Hooray. And air. But it's just like, heart. Like, even when they try to force it into the song, it was just stupid. It was like...
Do you know the words to the song?
No.
Okay.
That show was garbage, man.
Okay.
I watched it. And
I
it
bet
was
you he
dumb as
does,
shit.
and he probably remembers it just because out of hate. But there's no way he's gonna recite it. Yeah. But because this guy's got a mind like an elephant, he remembers a lot of stuff, like minuscule, factoids. He'll remember them for.
Yes,
ever.
I do. That's very true.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Duck, I don't know. Darkwing Duck don't need to be that high. That's a great
No,
show, but
it does. No, it does not.
Yeah.
No. So let's debate the rest of this list, right?
Yeah, Ed, and Eddie can fall off the list. Coward Courage can fall off the list.
See, I was never into a lot of those Cartoon Network shows. The original Cartoon Networks, like Ed, Ed and Eddie, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like Kids Next Door was pretty cool, but it was beyond my time. So I'm not gonna say that it was a terrible show, but I'm definitely not gonna say it was a great show. Yeah, because I just didn't watch it like that. But there's a lot of kids that swear by both Courage and Ed, Ed and Eddie. They think it's like it was like the early Stoners cartoon show besides Beavis and Butthead. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, they can have that garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
So Doug is on the bottom. Needs to be on the bottom. Xiaolin Showdown don't even be on that list. I'm being straight up.
That is.
Whenever that came on, I turned the channel. They're like that, and I think the same people that made that and made what was that luchador cartoon that they had on Kids WB? It was Lucha something. I forget what it was called. I think the guy whoever made Shaolin Showdown made that as well, but it was just no. Static Shock being C tier, is that good or bad? Disrespectful?
It really just depends on if you was a Static Shock fan. Yeah, that's all that is.
Okay, so can we agree that would you even put Spider-Man the Animated Series? Would you consider that Mucha Lucha? Thank you, Sharita Jackson. Would you consider Spider-Man the Animated Series an S tier cartoon? Let's be perfectly brutally honest.
I think A tier.
I agree with that because Scott Crowell, people watch the Jackie Chan cartoon. How dare you, sir? Yes, people watch that Jackie Chan cartoon. It was actually pretty good. But anyway, Spider-Man the Animated Series, as much as a lot of people really love it and as much as I'm a Spider-Man fan, I still don't think it was as quality as X-Men, Batman the Animated Series, or Justice League. First of all, the character design or the character designs in general for Spider-Man the Animated Series always seemed like a step below like X-Men or definitely step below Batman the Animated Series and Justice League. To me, that's just to me. So I wouldn't put Spider-Man in the S tier. Y'all can at me if you want, but
I don't think Spider-Man would be in the S tier, but I don't think X-Men would be in the S tier either. And the reason why I'm going to tell you why. The first 2 seasons of X-Men was wonderful. I think it was either the third or the fourth season. They got fucking terrible. I'm talking about so bad. The animation was bad. The stories were bad. And that brings it down a notch to me. If it was the season 1, 2, all the way to its end, then I would say yeah. But I went back and started watching when they put it on Netflix years ago, and I got to this part where just like, what happened to the animation? Why is this garbage story? It's like the kids got stuck in a cave and freaking what's her name? Jubilee is telling them some story that's like medieval times.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode.
I don't remember them doing anything like that in the Spider-Man TV show, and I think Spider-Man kept a pretty even keel throughout the series, where X-Men was like it, up, hit his peak, and then started coming back down, and to me that was points.
Spider-Man did end with Mary Jane lost
maybe across space and time.
Ever ended.
Ever found.
It
just lost. Cliffhanger. No more show.
Right.
That's why I hate cliffhanger. Any things.
I always thought that was really odd that the show ended like that. Like they dared to have them almost get married, right? and then Mary Jane gets lost into another dimension, like, and Peter can't find her. That's wild. that's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild.
I think Batman animated series should definitely be S tier because out of all those seasons, that stayed up there. I mean, they might have had a few episodes that were hit or miss, but nothing like of what I spoke of before, where it's just like, oh, you guys took a turn for the worse and there was no coming back. And if they did have it, it's usually story-wise. The quality of the animation never changed, you know, for the most part. No, the quality of animation, I don't remember ever changing. Yeah. I mean, it changed like how they drew stuff, because I remember the early seasons, Bruce Wayne and the Joker had a different look than later seasons. Not really too sure why, but the quality was still there. Whereas, like I'm saying with X-Men, it started to get pretty bad towards the end. And Spider-Man, I don't remember the ending of Spider-Man, so that's why it may not be, you know, with me. And leaving off on a cliffhanger does kind of suck, but I don't recall, you know, the stories and the quality of the show changing. It pretty much stayed the same. So that's kind of why that. But I would put Spider-Man and X-Men on the same tier.
It's A tier?
Yeah, I would put it either A tier or B tier. It's floating in between those two, but it's definitely not S tier to me just because of that.
So out of all the ones on this list, who would you put in the S tier then?
Where is it? I would have to look at it real quick to see what's going on, because
it's back in the chat, our chat, so you'd have to grab that real quick.
Would you put Batman in it? Would you put Justice League in the S tier?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed all of Justice League. I watched all that and Unlimited, and I thought that was pretty gosh darn good. I put Justice League would be in my S tier. Batman animated series would be in my S tier because I thought it was amazing. Avatar would be in the S tier because it is a fucking good show. I could not believe the writing in a kid's show like that, and it's such a shame that it got turned into a piece of garbage fucking M. Night Shyamalan, you know, shit.
Oh, that movie? My goodness, that movie was terrible.
But out of all of those are my S tier. My A tiers would definitely be Spider-Man.
Well, you got to have a fourth. You got to have a fourth.
I thought it said 1, 2, 3.
You said X-Men would not be in it. You said Spider-Man would not be in it.
The rest of them, I don't think there is any other S tiers. There's
Samurai Jack? Samurai Jack?
Samurai Jack, so I can't speak on that. Okay. I saw the first 2 seasons, and I wanted to finish watching it, but then they took it off of Hulu, and I have no way of, you know, I'm not in the downloading game, so I'm not even ready. So,
Gargoyles? I
love Gargoyles, but I wouldn't call it S tier. It did have it seemed like adult themes. It didn't seem like particularly for kids. It's more like, you know, teenager stuff. But I don't know if it's up there with S tier. I mean, it's
well, what do you think, GQ? Where would you put Gargoyles at? Would you put it A tier, B tier, C tier, or S tier?
Gargoyles is A tier.
It's an A tier show.
Yeah, Gargoyles is one of those shows that got soggy in the middle, then it got better at the end.
When they introduced Goliath's daughter,
losing her mind.
I know, right, dude? I think you would actually. I think you would be an awesome uncle. I'm not lying, because he's the uncle that just really wouldn't care. he wouldn't care what the parents had to think. He'd be the one. He's got all the cool toys. I mean, look at his surroundings. He's got all the cool looking toys. He's got all the video games. He's got all the movies that your parents wouldn't want you to watch. He'd let you watch them. All the kids would love him.
Exactly.
All the time. They'd love him.
Yep. That's all there is to it.
And he'd be quick to kick him out of the house and then watch all the havoc ensue when they go back to their parents and they let them know what they did over at Uncle GQ's house.
I'll look at it this way: all my nieces and nephews are extremely well behaved, and all of them that had opportunity to sit under my tutelage, and they left out better than they came in. So that's all there is to it. What's up to Big Kahuna up in the on the show, joining the show?
What's up, Big Kahuna? She says you're a child drug. You're a child drug. What the hell?
Whatever. Yeah. Either way it goes, they leave better than when they came in.
Oh man! All right, guys. So the next topic I kind of want to bring up. So I don't know if you guys heard the news. Like this Crisis on Infinite Earth thing is probably going to be the single greatest DC thing we've ever seen in live action, period. Like, they're getting everyone from everywhere. You got stars from Smallville. You got stars from the 60s Batman, the 90s Flash, you know, shoot, you got Brandon Routh from the movies playing his Superman character again. You got it's crazy, man. You know, they're pulling out all the stops, but they're not infallible because they weren't able to get one very somewhat sought after, very important person, and that's the Lex from Smallville, who most people consider to be the greatest version of Lex Luthor ever done. Michael Rosenbaum says he was approached by Warner Brothers and I quote said they had no show schedule or shooting schedule, they had no script and basically no money, and then they also put a gun to his head and said, we got to know your commitment right now. And he said basically, to hell with y'all. So what do you guys think of Warner Brothers' offer? Did they really not come correct, or was this just a case of bad timing?
That's really what they came with. Like, no money, no shooting schedule. Like,
he said, basically,
he said basically, on the dotted line and said you'll be here.
That's pretty much what they did. Yeah.
Nah, dude. See, again, and this might just be a Warner Brothers thing. Who knows? But if you don't have a plan, as especially an actor, it's like an actor needs to have their stuff scheduled, man. Mm-hmm. So you got to know when you're going to work, where you're going to work, how long is it supposed to be. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be there. Like, dude, unless you offer me $1 billion payday,
right?
I ain't showing up just, you know, sign on the dotted line. You got, you know, all of my time whenever you need it. That's stupid, man. So if that's what they said for real, and if that's really what went down, I don't blame him for saying, nah, I'm not even interested, regardless of how good of a Lex Luthor as he was. I mean, and the thing is, I'm not sure if it was a falling out, but they even had trouble at the end of Smallville with his contract.
That's true. I remember. You're right.
With his involvement, and it wasn't on his end. So it's like, if I were him, I'd be like, yeah, F y'all. If y'all can't give me good money, at least some dates and some times and some, you know, whatever. Because it's like, look, actors are still contractors, man. They have to work when the work comes through, and they need to kind of know, especially, you know, ones that are busy. It's like, look, I got this project over here, I got this one coming up in whatever.
Right.
Here's my time slot. What dates are you talking about? You know, so that's dumb if it's really, you know, if that's what they came with.
And you know, that is really unfortunate because as we have said before, he was a very good Lex.
He was one of the best ever.
He was the best ever. And you know,
considering that, I said one of.
Okay, all right, fine, one of. I mean, in a very short list of live action Lexes, and we're not even counting the ones on like that Superboy show that they had. We're talking Gene Hackman, John Cryer, and that's the short list of live action Lexes that
really?
We got John Shea,
really?
Shea from Lewis and Clark.
He's gonna leave Kevin Spacey off the list. Okay.
I mean, you know what? I'll put him on there, but the Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor, I thought would have been a lot more sinister. I thought he would have played him differently than he did.
First of all, they had him playing the extension of Gene Hackman. That was the entire problem with Superman Returns. It was Bryan Singer's love letter to Superman 2. And it's just like, you have one of the best actors in the world right now about to play Lex Luthor, and you make him play the Gene Hackman real estate version. It's like, they could have knocked it out the park with Spacey, man. They had so much opportunity there. But whatever. That's another failure on the pile.
Yes, another failure on the pile. What do you think of this news, Dado?
Unfortunately for me, I never watched Smallville to the extent that you guys did.
What?
Yeah, I just was playing video games and shit, man. I wasn't watching Smallville. So I did. I want to watch Smallville. I will sit down and probably binge through it if I get some time. I probably could kill it in about a month, all of it, maybe. but I don't really know his Lex Luthor because when I did watch the episodes of Smallville, it was when he was still in high school, if I remember correctly. And Lex Luthor wasn't really, I think he was more like his friend at the time. And I don't know how it changed later on. So
part of what made, and Follow Marvel can jump in on this one too. Part of what made the Lex from Smallville so good is you kind of got to see he wasn't just an overtly bad dude. He's like, you could see he was dealing with a lot of the struggles, and he kind of like evolved into the Lex Luthor that we knew. But even then, you liked him. You liked him as a character, as an actor. In some ways you were cheering for Lex to kind of overcome his bad impulses and be a better person. But even at the end, you still kind of really liked him, even though but he never really crossed irredeemable status. Would you say that, Fallen Marvel? I don't know what's going on with your mic, man. We can't hear you. He'll get his mic.
Okay, I heard something about that. I just really didn't like rooting for Lex to be a good guy. What?
No. Not rooting for him to be a good guy, but necessarily not always giving in to his more evil impulses. Because it was like he was more or less trying to outdo his dad, and I always preferred his Lex over his dad in that area. So when he would strike back against his dad and get even with his dad, I was all for that. I was cool with that. But when you started doing,
show were you watching, man? I was all about Lex becoming Lex Luthor.
That was a long journey, though.
There you go. Hey, there he is. There he is. Because
had to fix the microphone setting.
This series here is the reason I don't even bother with Netflix. I freaking binged all of Smallville when I used to be a truck driver. So I was literally watching seasons as I was out on the road on DVD. Good DVD, but I mean, that is what it is. So,
right,
like, that's how I got into Smallville. But no, I wanted Lex to be, as he got more and more more and more twisted and evil, it was like he just became more and more engaging. Like, there was an episode, I think it was in season 5, where they played this song by this, I think it's December Underground, if I remember the name of the group properly. Thank you, AFI. And the song is called December or Miss December.
No, that was that was the album. That was the name of the album. The song. Shit.
It's Prelude.
I can't recall.
It's got a very
Prelude. Yeah. It was like Prelude, and it was a number, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah,
that song should have been longer.
Oh no,
Prelude. Yes,
Prelude. There's a longer version. There's a longer version of the song on the album.
Oh,
it's part of another song. So yeah, I went out and bought the CD just particularly for that particular song. Yeah. And it was the scene was so perfect. It was like showing Lex, basically having like all these different like metahumans in prisons, basically, and he's walking down the hall and they're trying to reach through the bars to get at him and stuff. It's like, yeah, this is Lex becoming Lex. This is what I freaking want. So no, I didn't want him to freaking be none of that. All about him becoming the Luthor he was supposed to be, and that freaking cool ass overcoat he always had on.
Hey man, look, I ain't gonna lie. As much as I'm a Superman guy, right? Superman has always been my dude, but I liked Lex more than I liked Clark in that show. I'm not lying. It was just because he was so charismatic. He was so charismatic. I liked him a lot. And like Rosenbaum just killed it, dude. And I imagine if he had been invited to being in Crisis, I have to imagine that nobody wanted him to do some kind of small cameo. We would have wanted him to have kind of like a meaty role. At least this is me. I just want to be greedy. I would want him to have
maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe the role they were offering was garbage. Maybe they,
I can see that.
It just again, if he was saying little money, to me, little money sounds more like cameo. Because if and we're not sure when, you know what I'm saying? It's like, regardless, that's just bad business. Period. It's like, look, if you're a freaking major studio, you should have your stuff together.
Agreed.
But if it literally is, we're not sure when, pay is going to be low, blah, blah, blah. That's either a cameo or they just outright do not have their stuff together and they're just coming at him wrong. And yeah, he should definitely turn them down. And that's stupid.
Yeah,
that's really
I'm very
dumb.
sad about that part. I'm very sad about that part that he's not going to be in it. Now, could this all be a public negotiating tactic? Rosenbaum doesn't strike me as the type of dude that would just throw this out there to say, "Hey, fuck you, pay me, give me more money." But could they maybe open the purse strings a little bit more to get him in the door?
Do they even have purse strings to open?
They don't.
Straight up. I'm being
straight
up, dude. I'm being straight up because Warner Brothers has money, so Warner TV might just be cheap.
But they shut out all this money so far. It's like literally they're pulling out all the stops. They're getting everybody.
But that could be the problem because who did they? Okay, they got Tom Welling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they got Erica, Erica Durance is going to be Lois.
So they got Erica Durance back as Lois. They probably ain't gonna get Kirsten Kirk, whatever.
Probably not, and I don't mind that in the slightest. Honestly,
she was one of the best parts of Smallville. Shut up.
Yeah, please,
whatever.
Please. Outside of that beautiful face, she was terrible.
She was a million times better than Chloe. A million.
Okay, we're talking. Looks department, absolutely, but
that's all that matters. Are you already done? That's what she was there for. She was there to be eye candy and the love interest.
Yeah,
I know. When Erica came along, that changed. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, man, she was the best Lois. She's the best Lois I've ever seen. Period.
She was an interesting Lois. Okay, moving on past that. Who else did they got that's coming in? Because I think they already spent most of their money. That's probably the problem.
Burt Ward, Kevin Conroy.
Oh, that's already more enough. Kevin Conroy, he's a team player, so I don't know if he overcharged them a lot, but he deserves whatever.
Burt Ward.
That's all really right there.
Okay. That's all their money right there? Burt Ward, you think he's commanding that kind of salary? Come on, man.
Okay, first off, it's Burt Ward. Secondly, you got Burt Ward, Kevin Conroy, Tom Welling. Tom Welling had already walked away from it for a while. So that's people that walk away from stuff, they want big money to come back. So I think they spent the majority of their money on them 4 people right there.
So Mike, if they only popped up in one episode and that's it.
Right. Who knows, man? And again, if this had been, I hate to keep saying it, if this had been done the way we know other studios do their stuff, this would have been, here's the cash, here's the schedule. We need you for 4 episodes. We're going to get this done in 3 weeks. Boom. That would have been the whole way this would have been done. But you go haphazard and don't seem to have any real order or plan. You get, conflicts and scheduling negotiation problems. It's damn it. Here's the problem I have. Avengers Endgame exists. Do you know how much of a logistical nightmare that had to be for somebody, but it still got done?
Oh yeah. So no question.
If you can do that with a big, huge, ridiculous, giant movie, damn it, you can do it on TV too.
And this is nowhere near an Endgame equivalent, but for DC TV, this is almost evolved to the point of you got to see this, you've got to be there, you got to watch this thing. Like that, it's almost evolved to that point because of how many decades of stars and characters that they're pulling from to pull into this one event. Like logistically, this is the most ambitious thing DC TV has ever even attempted. Like, of course,
Mike Oliver says, wouldn't it be mind blowing if we seen Michael Keaton in it?
Sure,
and not gonna happen.
Never, absolutely not ever.
He's tied up in the middle of a Disney Sony breakup, and he ain't going nowhere.
So, hey, Mike Oliver also did ask a very, very good question. He says, so since Tom Welling is in this show or in this crossover, do we see him in the Superman suit? Because we never saw him in it in Smallville. Never actually really saw him in it. Not officially. So do we see him in it now, or does he pull the whole Clark the Streak type deal?
Skip that. Come back with that badass red.
That red jacket.
Yeah,
yes.
That badass red Superman jacket. That's what he needs to do.
That boy
I ain't
was
gonna lie.
If you come back with that jacket, I'll be straight with it.
I ain't gonna lie.
That jacket was fire.
When they had that in black, in black, I came so close to ordering that. I was like, dude, I don't.
Y'all don't understand. For a man of this nature who abhors Superman, even saying that he'd buy that boy on the spot, that's saying something. That's really saying something.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That was the best version of a Superman of a Superman logo on a piece of clothing.
It was fire. That
boy was fire. Cold, man. That was a cold jacket. I knew everybody wanted that jacket, whether you like Superman or not. That boy was just dope.
Yeah, that was really well designed. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So Scott Crow says he has to wear the suit. Jamal Taylor says the budget for TV is bigger than ever, which is extremely true. But again,
they're not trying to spend all that money.
You're right. Mm-hmm. We're talking heavy effects laden stuff because if they're gonna put all this money in all these people, they're gonna have some money left over for effects. So we'll see what happens, man. Because I am more and more. I get less. I guess probably the word is have less in faith in what Warner TV is able to do because
why is that?
Because it's like I've stopped watching all of their stuff. I used to watch like Flash. Used to watch it as it came on. Used to watch Legends of Tomorrow as it came on. I never was a fan of Arrow, so that didn't really count. And I even watched the first season of Supergirl all the way through as it came on.
What?
And then
no way.
And even Gotham, first season of Gotham, because it's like okay, hopefully it'll get better. But then as time went on, it was just like these shows ain't even worth getting in front of the TV to watch no more. I'll just buy the seasons and watch them when I feel like it. That's what it became for all of their shows. And that's not a good thing, man, because it's like you're not making it where I want to see the show as it comes on. It's just kind of I'll get around to it. I think part of the issue for me is these crossovers. I love them. I love what they do with them. But it's like, okay, if you're going to do this whole big crossover thing, you're about to cut right into the narrative of something that might have been happening on your show. Because now you have to spend some episode on whatever it is, whatever the event is this season. And I think, and again, I have no problem with a interconnected universe and all that. But it's like when you suddenly, let's say, for example, Flash, you're doing your whole Flash, Savitar thing or whatever. And it's just like, oh yeah, but by the way, over here, we're about to go into this whole crossover thing. And Savitar is taking a break this week. He's going over over to Jitters. He's going over to Jitters. He's going to sit down. Matter of fact, he's taking a part-time job at Jitters. He's going to be the barista for this particular time frame while everybody from the cast goes over to this other Earth to do some other, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it just feels like it's just
how do you take a break in the midst of some gripping drama that's happening in your own universe to deal with this crossover or whatever? Now would it have been better for them to make the crossovers be the end of the season type deal?
No, because then you still got to tie up your season finale. Like if the crossovers were like movie of the week type stuff, where like it was just, damn it, we got all these people at the same studio working on different stuff. Let's get them together and tell a story. If they would have just almost like it was an OVA, or almost like if it was like an annual, basically, like okay, boom, all your seasons still run as they run, but here's a story that, we just going to tell because we have the ability, because all these actors are, here or whatever. Let's do this. I think that if they had that approach to it, and, and even if you made it, we're like, okay, you can buy it separately if you want as just one movie, contained movie, I'd be cool with that. But for them to just, throw it in the middle of these various shows' normal run of their season, it's just like, okay, so if y'all just went through all of that, the very next episode, y'all better be talking about it because it just happened. Right. So, and I think there's a little bit of a disconnect there. And again, it's a small gripe, but it's still there, and it bugs me a little bit.
I can see that. I can get with that. Anybody else want to comment on this before we move on to the main topic of the day?
I will say that them getting Tom Welling overall did make me interested in the crossover again, because I really liked the way last year's crossover started, or was it this year? I don't know, however you want to say it. But I liked how it started. I didn't like the way it ended. And I think all of their crossovers up to this point were kind of like that. It's like it starts off with promise, and then somehow it just sort of just ends on like a bittersweet note somehow. And it's just kind of like, because like the first crossover, I think like
that was the worst. That was the worst. That was the invasion. That was the invasion
right.
of the Dominators. Yeah.
Right, and that ended with what, Professor Stein dying.
No. That's you're thinking of Crisis on Earth X. That one was actually one of the better ones. That was actually one of the better ones that they did.
It was one of the better ones, but yeah, it's like the ending of it kind of just felt like anticlimactic. And it's just like it starts off good, but then it just ends like like the payoff just, I don't know, it just kind of falls off. And then after that, and it's like I think I said this on a previous show when, as far as the past season for the DC shows, is that honestly, like the Flash and Black Lightning are the only shows that didn't let me down this past year. So it's like that's saying a lot. It's like I wasn't expecting much from Supergirl, but it's like they had their moments. It's like the first half, good writing. Second half, jumbled mess with like like a few high spots in it. And that's kind of how like the whole DC TV thing ended for me on the CW. And it really made me damn near not even look forward to Crisis when they announced it. So, you know, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. You know, so I don't know. Hopefully they get it together this year.
After Crisis, you think maybe they just put a nix on the whole crossover thing and just don't do it anymore?
I mean, they have to have like interesting characters, and I think like it's still kind of up in the air whether or not Supergirl is still going to stick around. So
we'll see. We shall see. All right, guys. So the other, news that kind of dropped recently is the news that out of Bob Iger's latest book, or a book that he did chronicling his tenure as DC president, was this little nugget about his relationship with George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, and he says that in his little anecdote, he says that George Lucas felt betrayed after Disney purchased Star Wars and also purchased his scripts to the sequels to Star Wars, and he found out that during story meetings that Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of her crew at Lucasfilm had zero intention of adapting any of his Star Wars treatments, and went in a completely different direction. And like Kylo Ren and Rey, they weren't even in his treatments at all. So what do you guys, have you guys read the story? And what do you guys think about, Disney's or this news that that George Lucas was not happy with, the direction Star Wars was taking?
Well, I will say I didn't get a chance. I didn't read the whole story, but I have heard rumblings about it. Probably over the past year, more or less. I've been hearing rumblings about that, and more than likely, he probably does feel slighted about Star Wars going into a direction or whatever. Because I mean, he finally had got a chance to really make Star Wars the way he really wanted to make them with the prequels, and so on and so forth. And whatever reason he agreed to sell the franchise. I mean, it's like, if you're essentially, like, granted they paid top dollar, but if you're essentially selling your baby, it's kind of too late to want to have input about how someone else has raised it. In a way, like, granted, it's like, look, we still give him the clout because yes, he helped facilitate Star Wars into what it is today. But at the same time, you willingly sold it off. It's like it's like I'm not telling him he can't feel the way he feels, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, if they're not going in the direction you wanted to go in, you can't really be all that surprised. So that's how I look at it.
I understand. And, Bob Iger was very careful to say that, when they did purchase Star Wars and then they also purchased his scripts, they made sure to put in there in the wording of the contract, they said they are not contractually obligated to use any of the material in his scripts. So either Lucas decided to casually ignore the fine print on that, or he just wants to be upset because he's angry in the direction that they took it. Iger even said that he thought he was very crystal clear in his communication in telling George that, that was actually the case, that even though where they're buying the scripts, that they're not contractually obligated to use any of their stuff. And, he laments that he probably may have handled it wrong. So, Dido, what's your thoughts on George Lucas's feelings over Star Wars?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. Kind of like what Kyle was saying. You know what? You kind of gave it away. And you could have set it up where it's like, all right, I'm going to sell this to you, but I want to make my last 3 movies. And I want to use my scripts and blah, blah, blah. You had the power to do such thing, and you didn't do it. So you can't really, I mean, you could be upset, I feel sorry for him, but what are you going to do about it? I mean, you can't sit there. I mean, the guy's crying in the face, hands full of money. But crying in
it's a little more than a handful. A little more.
So it's like, boo-hoo, your tears. Okay, whatever, dude. You had the power to, still sell to Disney, include in that contract and say, you know what, I want to make my last 3 movies. You guys are going to finance it, and we're going to use my scripts. And it could all have been in there. And we could have got, people still pissed off that Star Wars sucks because they're not true Star Wars fans or whatever. So,
do you include Hand of Omega in that not true Star Wars fans? Deal?
I think he's a true Star Wars fans when it comes to the book and his idea of what he believes Luke Skywalker should be.
Ooh, them's fighting words, man.
I've already discussed that with him.
Them's fighting words, man.
He believes that he should be that way, and I say he is exactly how he was in the freaking Return of the Jedi, so whatever. I don't reiterate that stuff again.
He's accusing me of stirring the pot too much. I'm just saying. But no, GQ, as the resident Star Wars expert on this panel, why don't you weigh in on this and maybe kind of give us, if you can glean an idea of what maybe Lucas's script treatment might have been if it wasn't like this.
Well, like Scott Crowell was saying in the chat there, it probably would have been a little bit more politics and a little bit more musings about how the Empire was going about paying for all the stuff that they... No, realistically, I just look at it this way, man. It's like you sold this for $4 billion. Now, granted, you gave away a lot of that $4 billion to charity. That was your choice, whatever. But you sold this and ILM. So you were basically getting out of the game, getting out of the business. You were basically saying, I'm done. You were cashing out. And that's fine. But this is like... Right. This is like I go to the car dealership and buy a car, and then the dealership calls me up and be like, hey, man, I don't like how you drove that car off the lot, man. I mean, you just all reckless with it. It's like, no, it's my car now. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. You have no more say over it because you sold it to me. If I leased it, there's a whole different ball of wax there. But I bought it. Disney bought this. This is theirs, period. End of story. you could be sour grapes and mad and whatever all you want. At the end of the day, they own it, all of it. So it's just like, dude, fine. You felt betrayed. They didn't use your scripts. Okay, whatever. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith weren't that. They were good, but they weren't like, holy crap, the original
had
trilogy.
moments.
They weren't that good.
Yeah, they had
moments. They had moments. So I don't know what his other scripts were going to be. Whatever. I personally don't really care because it's like, look, as long as you give me a red lightsaber fighting against some other color lightsaber, I'm good. I don't care about any of the other stuff. If you give me Darth Vader going down the hallway, murdering rebel soldiers, I'm really good. So that's all I need, dude. It's like, you don't have to. People get so wrapped up into what they think Star Wars is supposed to be. Now, granted, Lucas created it. It's his thing, but you sold it. So stop talking about it because you sold it. You didn't sell it. You can talk all you want. If you had put in, like other people have said, if you put a little stipulation in that contract, hey, I get to make these movies or whatever, cool. But you didn't. You saw $4 billion. They backed up several Brinks trucks to your house. Dumped that money, and you were like, boom, sold. And they were sold ILM and Star Wars. So that's insane. Period. Like when I first heard that, I was just sitting back. I was like, wait, what? Whoa. Not only did they get one of the most popular marketable franchises in existence, they got the effects house that every movie in their mother uses. So basically, they're getting money off of almost every movie. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, Lucas could have held on to one or the other and still been. He's not hurting for money. So let's just be 100% clear about that. Regardless of him giving away however much of the $4 billion for charity or whatever, the man ain't hurting. Period. At all. However, that's insane. That's crazy. So again, sour grapes, whatever it is, Disney owns it. It's theirs. They, made sure they got rid of the EU stuff, so don't even have to worry about all them other authors coming back saying you stole this idea or that. It's like, whatever. They got it all. They were smart about it. End of story, dudes. Like you can be mad or whatever, but you signed off on that. So I don't care what his script was.
Well, I appreciate guys like Jamal Taylor. He was very direct. He's like, I'm just happy to have more Star Wars, man. Period. And honestly, man, that's what it should be about. Like, dude,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, it's like getting this bad over the way Star Trek or Star Wars is being, done now. Stop it. The way Star Wars is being done now, is just like, that's just pissing and moaning about stuff you have zero control over. So either you, and a lot of people I think are realizing this right now. You either are with it or you're not, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. But don't try and ruin it for everybody else that may like it. Like, I didn't hate The Last Jedi. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. But I didn't think Return of the Jedi was the greatest thing ever. I didn't think Attack of the Clones was the greatest thing ever. I didn't think, Phantom Menace was all that great either. But I enjoyed them anyway. So what? Let people enjoy what they
stop before you made the mistake of saying something crazy like you didn't think Empire was great.
Please, Empire was one of the greatest movies ever. It was one of the greatest movies ever.
I just look at it this way. It's like, it's not even just affected like we're still able to get more Star Wars. The thing is, it's like, if they're putting out something that I like within that, then I'm good. So far, I haven't been disappointed. I don't have to and another thing too is that I don't like this whole thing where like people get overzealous and they try to take ownership over a fandom, which is annoying as well. And Star Wars fans are notorious for that shit.
Yes, they are.
And it's to the point where it's like, okay, look, we know that you had this idea. You read all the hundreds, maybe thousands of books, the comic books, the novels. Okay, that's great. But guess what? Your casual fan that sees something interesting, whatever, they're not going to backlog all of that. Okay? Like, it's like, that's just how I look at it. It's like if Disney saw fit, it's like, look, okay, All the other stuff, whatever, we're just gonna make that like just legend stuff. But if we could call back to it, we can. But just to kind of, avoid like doing something extra convoluted. It's like, okay, look, we're just gonna sit that there. We can pull from that if we want. But if we're really trying to hold the whole universe to those things, where it was just such a cash cow, like just novel after novel. Like I lost count of how many novels Star Wars had, and that's not even counting comic books, like but like pre-Marvel. So the thing is, look, sometimes you got to take what you can get. If either you like it or you don't, stick with what you do like. I mean, it's one of those things you have to just take it or leave it. That's just what it is. Take it or leave it.
All right, Hand of Omega brought up something. He said he wants more good Star Wars, and then it looks like he's correcting it to well-made movies. Here's the issue. That's subjective. Because to me, good Star Wars is the asteroid sequence from Empire Strikes Back. Good Star Wars is the Luke versus Vader battle in Empire Strikes Back and then continued in Return of the Jedi. Good Star Wars is Rogue One, Vader slaughtering all those people in that hallway. So moments of Star Wars can be good. Because if you really, really, with the exception of Empire, sit down and watch those films outside of any of your nostalgia, your emotional connection, they're not really good movies. They're just not. So the good in Star Wars is only found in various moments in those films. I don't think like Star Wars, that should have never worked. Like
the original,
ever.
you mean?
Yeah. The first movie shouldn't have worked. It's just like how stuff comes together just doesn't make any damn sense. But it happens and it works. Whatever. It's cool. The whole trench run. It's like, why y'all doing this the hard way? Why don't y'all find out where that spot is and fly straight over that spot and shoot the torpedo straight down into that hole? Instead of you got to skim the surface till you get to this point. You know what I'm saying?
You're in space. What are you talking about?
Right. So it's like some of the logistics of it are dumb, but it's fine because it's a movie. It is what it is. Cool moments. So like the prequels fall apart if you put any type of like scrutiny on them. So I mean, it's just like
Very true.
If you again. For me, Star Wars is lightsaber battles. That's the only thing outside of lightsaber battles, some really cool space battles moments. But outside of those two things, and more so on the lightsaber side of things, that's all Star Wars is to me. I don't care about any of the other stuff. Like most of the characters I actually like are either Jedi or Sith. That's it. Like everybody else is just kind of there just until I get to my next lightsaber battle.
Now, see, for me, good Star Wars is the lore itself, like the history of the Force, the relationship between people that can use it and people that can't, and how a lot of people like Han Solo can exist or basically make it in a world where they are not augmented by a mystical force that they just can't fathom or understand. That kind of stuff is great. I love, the economy of Star Wars, where you've got smugglers, where you've got moisture farmers, things like that. It was just a very vibrant world. That stuff was great. And yeah, the lightsaber battles, what I love so much about the prequels and what they kind of brought to the table for me was that it evolved from lightsaber battles was less fencing and more actual technical, sword play. I loved that part, especially about the prequels, with like, kind of the beautiful flowing artistry that the Jedi would have, or even Darth Maul, a lot of the stuff he was doing. And even Christopher Plummer, not Christopher Plummer, excuse me, Christopher Lee, when he was doing, as Dooku, just a master swordsman.
Christopher Plummer. Wow.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. The Christophers were all running together. Sorry.
That's just
Sorry. The great Christopher
all the
Lee.
possible Christophers
Christopher's
you could
like a
have thrown in
pull.
there.
Yes.
Christopher Plummer. Man.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Whatever,
anyway.
man.
Yeah, no. And he says stay far away from Star Wars Resistance. He's not really into watching a lot of those Star Wars animated cartoons.
Yeah,
so.
only ones that count for me are Clone Wars animated and Clone Wars. Like that's pretty much it. Rebels was good too.
Rebels was good.
Yeah, Resistance, no, not so much.
Yeah, and honestly, if
I'll full disclosure though, I will be watching the hell out of Mandalore though. That's
for sure.
That's gonna be a deal.
Yes,
I don't care. That's gonna be amazingly awesome.
Yes, the Mandalorian is going to be incredible. You know, and there's not going to be a Jedi in sight.
How do you know?
No
guarantee.
Well, we don't. Well, because it's after Return of the Jedi. They've already been purged, and Luke is like the only one left that we know of. Maybe.
Really?
Just saying. That we know of. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
We don't
hey,
know
you know how
Force users were still out there during that time.
How awesome would it be if the Mandalorian somehow resolves that last hanging plot thread from Rebels, and Ezra shows up somehow in live action form? That would be something.
There's all sorts of possibility, man. There's things that can happen. Again, when you have a plan and a studio with a hell of a lot of money that is willing to use that money, magical things happen.
Yes,
the stars align. Dogs and cats start living together.
Mass hysteria.
Yep.
Hit it right on the head, man. It's just,
mass hysteria.
It's just it's like I said, if they know what they doing.
Jamal says he wants a Thrawn.
I want a Thrawn too. A live action Thrawn. Oh man, that would be awesome.
All right, okay, fine. Who could play him?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman can play anybody.
Gary Oldman,
man's a damn chameleon.
He that's like a surefire choice.
Honestly,
I liked him in Rebels though, man. I liked him in Rebels.
I like Thrawn in Rebels.
His voice in Rebels was freaking great.
Yeah,
man.
I like Thrawn in Rebels. I do want to see a live action one, but me even saying that Gary Oldman is a chameleon, he should be the chameleon in like Spider-Man or something like that.
Oh
that
hell
would
yeah!
That would be dope.
Down for that career,
that would be dope.
That would make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hand of Omega says Disney had zero plan for the sequel trilogy. I don't know about that.
Oh, you know what? Iger actually acknowledged
Ryan Johnson
that.
Come in.
Iger actually acknowledged that in his story. He actually said that he laments that maybe they tried to move a little bit too fast and were a little too ambitious with their Star Wars plans. What do you guys say to that? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
It's possible.
Solo just derailed it. That was the issue.
Which one? Solo derailed it?
Solo. Yeah.
Just was it the timing? Was it the timing, or was it just the movie itself?
Solo. First of all, I like Solo.
I like Solo a lot.
It wasn't terrible. It's just there's parts of it I don't like because again, it's like I don't have to see the Kessel Run. You don't have to show me that. It was an interesting concept to see it, but at the same time, it's like that's Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon's claim to fame. So it'd be kind of cool to just leave it as a mystery instead of, oh damn, it was more or less a accident, last ditch bit of luck. So I mean, I think that's what kind of bugged me about that. But the movie itself was cool. I think the problem it had, again, like you said, was timing. It dropped 5 months after you just had a very divisive Star Wars movie come out.
Yeah.
And it was like, you were sitting there like people were, it was, again, two major factions hating on Star Wars or liking it. And it's just like, here comes Solo. And it's just like,
caught in the middle. Like,
wait. Like, what story are you telling me? And it was like,
why are you telling it to me?
Right. And the dude playing Han just was not Han.
He wasn't.
I think that was part of the problem. It's Harrison Ford is just too hard of a dude to follow, man.
Yeah. That's why I just think it's like anytime.
I think I'm for real.
Yeah.
So then we would say that Solo succeeded. Well, not succeeded because you can't say it really succeeded because it kind of bombed in the theaters. But Solo was liked more for everybody except for Han. Is that a good summation of it?
I wouldn't even say that because I didn't have.
I think. Yeah.
I didn't have
Well,
a big issue with him. Like I just think I mean, it's just it is a victim of timing, and because again, you had those overzealous fans who was like, oh, just boycott anything Star Wars that comes out in theaters, and unfortunately, Solo was that very film that came out, and folks were just not seeing it on principle because, I mean, it was Star Wars. I mean, it was a Star Wars film featuring the quote unquote origins of Han Solo. Now, he's not like the most gravitas character in there, but overall, it's still Star Wars. It's still a Star Wars film in every sense of it. So, but
yeah, I get you.
It was a victim of timing because again, like you said, you had like the most divisive Star Wars movie to date in the Last Jedi, Last Jedi. So
you know what also didn't help Solo, and let's be perfectly honest here. You know what also didn't help Solo was that it was co-starring a lot of people that pretty much outdid Han Solo at every turn, like acting wise. Donald Glover stole every scene he was in as Lando Calrissian. Dude was brilliant. L3 was brilliant. I loved her as a droid character. She was great. Even Woody Harrelson, was great, and he was in many scenes with Han, which is unfortunate because they were basically running circles around that guy acting wise. And of course, Chewbacca is Chewbacca. Chewbacca. Everybody loved him. So. Right. It's unfortunate.
All right, I'm gonna let Dido jump in on this one because that's crazy.
What's up?
Well, according to IGN, this is breaking news right here that Kevin Feige, you know him as the mastermind behind the MCU, is developing a Star Wars movie for Disney. Now.
What?
Oh boy.
What?
Oh shit.
What?
Okay. I got to pull this up right now. I got to pull this up right now. What?
Yeah, that man. He seems to have his shit together.
Here it is. Developed it 20 minutes ago. Kevin Feige developing Star Wars movie for Disney. Holy crap!
Oh boy.
Wow.
Well,
straight from the Hollywood Reporter.
I guess that means. Well, I ain't gonna get my hopes up though. I mean, Kevin Feige he does all right, every now and again,
Also, he only turns out $1 billion. He only turns out $1 billion movies in his sleep.
Well,
Sonic Paramount 894 is over on Twitch and says they better leave Indiana Jones alone. Well, maybe they will because there's been some rumblings of Indiana Jones 5, which after on the heels of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't know if anybody's really.
I mean, it's really not really off the heels of it. Like I think a lot of people forgotten about it by now.
I want to forget that it ever existed.
I wanted Bradley Cooper to be Indiana Jones. Damn it.
He would have been good.
Everybody was kind of like
Chris.
Folks were like
Chris Pratt
for a while.
Yeah.
All right, let me read this and glean some things from it. So,
yeah,
but let me read this and glean some things from it. So
here's the thing: Chris Pratt to me, it's like yes, he obviously molded himself into being an action star, Star-Lord, but after seeing him in Jurassic World, and granted that's how the character is written, but he has almost too much comedy in his delivery and his look, his appearance. To me, Bradley Cooper can be that, walk that line of slight comedy, and also a professor, but this dude can hold his own in a fight and he might kill you if need be. I think that's where Bradley Cooper kind of beats him in that regard. Like Bradley Cooper looks like the dude once he throws that fedora on. He, in the class, give him the spectacles. He could be up there teaching the class and doing his thing. But once he gets that fedora on, that whip on his hip and his gun, I could see him holding his own, like out there, you know, and on them archaeological digs, you know, killing, you know, people coming after him and whatnot. I think it just Cooper, just to me, he has more of that look to him. Like he could be that hardcore roguish, you know, archaeology professor. You know, it's as weird as that is to say.
All that, all
like,
of the above. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I can't. Brad Pitt. I'm sorry, not Brad Pitt. Damn it, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt just does not scream that feel to me, because like I said, his character in Jurassic World, it was like, dude, you working with raptors and I still don't believe you. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't believe that. I don't see it. It's like, no, I just don't see it. But like Bradley Cooper, you give him that fedora and that whip and that gun, dude, it's like, yeah, this dude go out there and kick somebody's ass. I could see it. And I think really what sold it for me was him in A-Team.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just Jurassic World, maybe it was just the overall direction as to why like you felt that way, because I found myself questioning a lot of why certain characters like were even involved. Like I'm just like, especially in the second one, like in Fallen Kingdom, I'm just like really watching this, really like, okay, why are you here exactly? Because it's just like he's not bringing any
what?
Did you just mute yourself?
I think he froze there for a second. He froze for a second.
Freeze hit him. He was like,
"Damn it!"
He was like,
He's like, all right, Fallen Marvel, chill.
Yeah, indeed.
Don't do that. But yeah. But yeah, like
you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like
you made it.
It seems to be playing fine for me. I don't know. Like I probably need to call Comcast. They're irritating me. But I just found like a lot of caricatures like in the last couple of movies, just like really thinking like, why are any of you people here? Like it was kind of hard to believe like anyone in their position, like especially in the second one. So I mean, it could have just been a direction of the movie. That's all I'm saying.
No, here's the thing. Chris Pratt is a good comedic actor. Yeah. He's got comedic timing. That's what he's good at. It's not so much, and he's an actor, so he could, probably switch it up. But I've seen Bradley Cooper in a variety of roles, and it's just like from Limitless to Hangover to A-Team. It's just like the dude is very good at playing all the different facets of Indy's personality. So I think that's why I would rather see him as Indiana Jones than like a Chris Pratt.
All right, so from what I'm reading of this, and Hand of Mega was trying to intimate that perhaps Kathleen Kennedy is now boss in name only. That is not true, seeing as how she's still the head of Lucasfilm in general. She's got her fingers in the upcoming Indiana Jones that they're trying to plan, but she's also doing Children of Blood and Bone with Emma Watson and Fox. She's doing she's overseeing the Mandalorian, the Rogue, Cassian Andor, and Kate. She's overseeing. She's overseeing
in the sense of she gets to read the scripts and just kind of like pass them along to the next person, right?
That's what stuff like that. Yeah. So, but we know this is Jon Favreau's baby.
I feel better now. Now she's mentioned
that's Jon Favreau's
the
baby.
First Iron Man. So I feel better now.
Now Rogue One's cast. We don't know who's gonna do the show running for Cassian Andor and K2SO's show or Obi-Wan Kenobi's show, but those are still, projects that Kathleen Kennedy is in charge, I guess, of starting or basically launching out the door. So saying, she's a boss in name only now just because Feige is all of a sudden doing a film with Star Wars, I think that's a bit of a reach.
Um, just give her like a producer credit. That's all. I don't care. She didn't have to actually do anything. Put it in the hands of talented filmmakers and let it be that. And just give those filmmakers the money they need to execute their visions.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need to know.
Right.
I don't need to. It's like I don't need her touching indie. I don't need her really touching Star Wars. I don't need her. She can just.
So wait. I'm sorry. I gotta address something. So wait a minute. So Hand of Omega is really running his mouth right now. So he says like, oh well. Let me read back. He said, does Feige have to leave Marvel to work on Star Wars? No, there's no way in the hell he's gonna leave Marvel. That he basically churns out billion-dollar movies in his sleep. Disney would be stupid as hell to take him off of Marvel at this juncture. He says Iger made a lot of remarks about Feige's plans for Marvel, but made no mention of Kennedy, instead saying that he was where the buck stopped. Well, yeah, he's the president. He is where the buck stops. He's like, so he was like, so sounds like she's out of the decision making. I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to fire her in this day and age. Why not? I don't understand. If they were really going to fire her, they would have done it already. Like, why keep her on as a figurehead? That doesn't make any sense.
Because it makes you look good that you have a female in charge of something that huge. It doesn't look like you are running a boys club because, again, Kevin Feige, president of Marvel, operations and studios and whatnot, all the various shows, male directors or producers or whatever. So at least if you can say you got Kathleen Kennedy sitting over top of something, Star Wars being that something, it makes you look a little bit better in the public eye. I don't care about the fan side of things because they're going to go see whatever it is, regardless of all the protests they say. Everybody's going to be like, I ain't going to go see episode 9. Shut the hell up. Yes, you are.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to go see that movie. I don't give a damn what they try to claim.
Because folks are going to pay their ticket they're going to pay their ticket with a frown on their face. And either way it goes, it's like, yeah, they're going to come on the internet and start bashing hell of it, but you already paid your money, didn't you?
Exactly. Like, for example, the only reason Solo dropped as low as it did and did terrible at the box office is because it was not a numbered Star Wars movie. All the numbered Star Wars movies, people go see them. I don't give a damn what they say.
That's true.
They go see those because, I mean, sorry, what was it? Force Awakens, $2 billion.
Yep.
Y'all wouldn't protest. You know, sure as hell weren't protesting that movie. That bad boy came out and made $2 billion. And how much did Last Jedi make? Didn't Last Jedi get over $1 billion?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
easily.
all the people that
it cruised over $1 billion.
Right. So all them people talking about, I ain't going to see the next one because this was garbage. Okay. So how the hell y'all, you know, what happened? So that's why, like I said, all these protests I don't want to do. It's like, whatever. It doesn't matter how many of y'all there are. There's still enough of us that are going to go see it. And it's going to continue because that's how things work in entertainment. So that's just life. That's just how this stuff goes. But
Yalian's right. She's like, they go see it and cry after watching.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jamal Taylor's 100% right. All the boycotts is smoke. It's just like okay, you're gonna boycott this and boycott that. All that stuff gets even more props and more viewership. So it's just true.
Like all this stuff, like even right now, like everybody's crying about the Joker movie, right? That's getting ready to come out next weekend.
That's about to be weird.
So have weird in what way?
I'm not gonna go see it, obviously, but it's gonna feel weird, man. It's just all the stuff they said. He better be the Joker. It better not be all this weird misdirection stuff that they're trying to throw at us. He's not really going to be the Joker. He's just no, hell no. Damn it, if he ain't the Joker, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Jerome thing.
I think you're probably gonna be mad.
If this fool come out being Jerome, I'm gonna be mad as hell.
I don't think he'll actually be Jerome, but he ain't gonna be the Joker. So I'm just saying,
there's an episode
turned
of Gotham.
out to be twins, G. Like
right. There was an episode of Gotham in which Jerome died. And they were showing his appearance on some show when he was killing people, which is this is where how twisted and goofy that show was. He was murdering people on a TV show, and they sitting there showing a rerun of him doing it. And like, the rest of the city, all of a sudden the city's going mad. I'm like, they pull some crap like that in this movie, I might.
You gonna walk out? You gonna walk out?
Because I don't walk out of movies, because to me,
I was gonna say, because we all gonna be watching it together next weekend. So if I see this man getting up and walking out, I'm gonna be like, oh man.
I reserve the right to go to the bathroom. But no, it's just like, come on, man. It's just like, they better, like, all of them little shot again. Trailers don't always, tell the full story. They're showing you various little flashes of various things. And thankfully, this one does not seem to be one of their standard linear trailers of here's exactly what's going to happen in the order it's going to happen. And you just got to sit there and wait. Hopefully, this film is going to throw something my way that's going to make me be like, oh, damn, that was amazing. If they pull a Dark Knight Returns, do guests get to keep these mug moment on Robert De Niro, I'll be happy. They do that, this movie's got partially a little bit, just a little small amount of my stamp of approval.
Mm-hmm. But no, getting back to my overall point, it's just like all these people, all this news about, the Joker this, Joker that, Joker's, going to incite a bunch of incel, shooter violence and stuff like that. It may not. But all they're really doing is fueling interest in the film. It's like, so people are going to want to see it so they can make their own judgment. So it's going to be a success by proxy of all this hate it's getting, in a way. There's no way this movie is going to fail. That doesn't guarantee that it's going to be actually any good, but it'd be like one of them Venom things, right? Where Venom made more money than... I want to be nice when I'm saying this. Venom made more money than it probably deserved to make.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I'm talking in terms of worldwide box office. In terms of worldwide box office, yeah, it made more money than I think it deserved to make, because the movie was propped up by China.
That's not how this works.
Come on. Movie was propped up by China. It made more money in China than it made over here.
Now, first of all, movies are a business, so I don't give a damn how they did it. That's the whole point. They made sure they marketed the way they needed to market it, and they put it out the way they needed to put it out. So that's just smart business. Because, damn it, when they had that first trailer that showed him in full symbiote, obviously no symbol on the front, but in full symbiote.
Oh, it was cool. It was cool.
Eyes,
yeah,
that made me want to go see it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They're actually going to do the symbiote right. It's like, okay, cool. That made me want to go see it. That was smart marketing. They found the one string that they had to pull to get me interested in going to check that out.
Now, how many times how many times would you keep going to see Venom?
I saw Venom in theaters twice, actually.
Did you? But how many movies could they make just starring Venom before you like tap out and say, okay, man, it
depends, because again, if they go and it'll never happen, but if they go R with the second one because of Carnage, they would have my attention again, because it's like, oh wait, they're willing to go hella violent now. Okay.
I mean, technically they were hella violent in the first one. They were just candy coating it, which was hilarious.
Yeah, they were doing it.
There was no blood anywhere.
One of the things that will help this sequel is if it gets an R rating, but with Sony being who they are with anything related to Spider-Man, they're gonna want to get
PG-13.
They're gonna make it PG-13.
They're gonna make it
PG-13. If they put Spider-Man in, they have no choice. But Venom, they could go R with if he's going after Carnage. I think they could actually go that way.
They could, but
I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will.
See, no, wait. That's kind of a reason why I think they're not going to do it, because if the movie winds up being too violent, it might get banned in China. So they can't
cutting off a major finance source for them.
They'll find a way. Wait, Christina, what do you mean you never cared to watch Venom? Why not? You have to be curious. Got to get out there and enjoy new things. Seek out new films and new experiences. Boldly go.
Was
Where
that-
it
was-
usually might
Was
not
that
be.
was that a Star? Is
I
that a
would say
Star
this.
Trek idiom that I'm hearing from this man? What is
Hell
this?
yeah. That's my version of it. So it's not Star Trek.
He's like,
It's not Star Trek though.
he like, I don't. He like, no, I don't.
And in all honesty, like I
claim
said,
that.
Star Trek has its points and it has its moments, but realistically, Star Trek movies, they were pretty rubbish at the end there.
Oh, at the end? Are we talking?
Dude,
which one are we
Nemesis
talking
was
about?
garbage, man. Come on.
Oh,
now.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Nemesis
Got
was
you,
garbage.
got you.
Insurrection was kind of weak.
Yep.
Generations was good, obviously, because of the crossover.
And First Contact was great.
Yeah, First Contact was good. But I mean, most of the in the original, forever, the Star Trek the motion picture was complete trash. I don't care what nobody says. Only thing that came out of that was the damn Next Generation theme song. That's it.
So the 30th anniversary of Star Trek: Next Generation was kind of done in theaters like last weekend. I went to actually go and see it in theaters last Sunday. Yeah, at the Imagine. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
kind of hard.
Didn't age well, did it?
No, I'll say this for it. I enjoyed the soundtrack a lot. The cinematography of it, you can tell was, it was made in the 70s because of the way they shot that film with a bunch of exterior shots and effects and stuff like that. Dude, the movie was, let's be straight, the movie was boring, bro. The movie was boring.
Which one? Which one did they show?
The motion picture. Huh?
Oh yeah, see, no, motion picture was trash.
It was
I don't care what
boring, dude.
I do not care. The only two things that came out of that movie for me was, again, Next Generation theme song, and I offer my services as science officer. That's it. I don't care about none of the rest of that movie. That movie was so boring.
One line from Spock is what he took from the movie.
Absolutely boring. That movie was boring, dude. For real. Like if I ever buy the entire collection of films, I will literally pull that film out of the collection and sit it off to the side. Like you don't even count. Redheaded stepchild, sit on the porch.
You know what? You know what made it even worse? They didn't even. They showed the original. They showed the original Star Trek: The Motion Picture. They didn't even show the special edition with the improved effects or anything. They showed the original.
Dude.
I was like, dude,
where they find that?
It's hard, dude.
From.
Yeah, this is hard.
It's hard. That movie was so boring.
It was boring, dude. It was. I love Star Trek, but God, that movie was boring.
I remember watching it, and again, that's part of the reason Star Trek pissed me off for a long time was that movie. Khan, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, all day, every day. That movie is sweet.
Great.
That movie was great.
The movie was great.
I love the fact that the protagonist and antagonist didn't even meet physically in the entire movie. Ever. That was cool. Other than that,
the tension was there.
Search for Spock has its moments. Damn, it was a weird ass movie though.
Yeah, it was.
Star Trek 4 was cool because they came to Earth, so that was fun. The Save the Whales thing, whatever, blah.
Yeah, I could have done without that part.
Here's the thing that pissed me off about that. You have these computers. I don't give a damn how long whales have been extinct. The computers should be able to analyze and understand whale song. That to me was the dumbest thing about that. It was just like, what is it doing? What is it trying? It's like, dude, you can't. What?
Right.
Then they
You
have to go
can't
back in
analyze the
time.
sound of that just because they've been extinct.
Right.
Oh, come on, it's in the
Yes.
database. Come on.
Right. That made me mad. Like that was and again, I get it. The whole thing was a whole, it was a Earth Day EPA type of, movie basically. It was what it was. So whatever.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek 5 was what was
Can
that
we
one?
not? Can we not even talk about that movie, please? Like,
I'm trying to remember what it was about though.
It was about Cybok, the heretofore unknown.
Was it the Final Frontier?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, dude. Now Star Trek 5. see. No, I will give you this though. Star Trek 5 gave us one of the coolest lines from Kirk. What does God
need with a starship?
That was a cool line.
Yeah, it was. Especially the way he delivered it. He was like, "Excuse me."
He's like,
"Excuse me."
He's all polite about it.
What does God need with a starship?
What does God need with a starship? And my man was just blasting people though. Like he just
for real though.
Care.
He was like, right.
And then and he just blasted. And it's like, hold on, you did not answer his question. What does God? It's like God need with a starship. Bones looking over there like, oh shit, I ain't trying to get blasted at all.
Right.
But I mean. He was like, do you doubt me? He's like, I doubt any God that inflicts pain for us. It's like, okay, you didn't get blasted or you're lucky. I'm like, this is. I did like it though, because it was this like, okay, I didn't really like it. Uhura was too old to be doing that dance.
Man!
Like, I mean, again, Nichelle Nichols was a gorgeous woman in her day. Yes. Period. To all disclosure, yes, that woman was gorgeous, especially in Mirror Mirror. But like realistically, looking back at that film, Cybok was so cheesy, man.
Yeah, he was.
He was like
the passionate Vulcan. Like, what is this?
I had no problem with that because he said our ancestors embraced their passion. So I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting. And a twist on the whole Vulcan lore. So for him to be, he was like almost a televangelist mixed with like a pyramid scheme telemarketer. It was like he was all of that stuff rolled into one. And it's just like he's like, your pain runs deep. Share it with me. Like, oh, okay, that's really an odd pitch, but okay. And he's just, he had the Klingon and the Romulan and the what was the other girl? Was she a Romulan or was she something else? I don't remember. But had like all of them just falling all over him. Had David Warner, freaking dude that did the voice for what did he do the voice for? He did the voice for Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah.
And he was also in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 as the professor.
Hey, so I'm looking up Star Trek 5 lines, right? So here's some interesting trivia for you all. Interesting. And if we were still doing trivia, we put this in there and nobody probably would get it. The name Shakari is a play on words from the original actor asked to play the role of Cybok.
Shakari, okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Sir Sean Connery.
Oh no, they wouldn't have got him. They would have never. Hell nah.
Sir Sean Connery.
I can't even imagine Sean Connery as
Cybok,
the dude.
Yeah.
Wait. As Cybok.
As Cybok. They
wanted him to be Cybok.
Yes, they wanted him to be Cybok.
Man, no.
They wanted him to be Cybok.
Your pain runs steep. Like, no, dude, that's not.
That would have been. That would have been money.
Too smooth.
That would have been money.
People would have followed him just from him talking to them. He wouldn't even have to do no mind meld, nothing. No.
Yeah.
That would not have worked, man. But Star Trek 6 was sweet. Sulu, Captain Sulu, and Captain Kirk going ham on that Klingon bird of prey that could cloak, firewall cloak. That was awesome. That was amazing.
So check this out, right? So the production budget for Star Trek 5 probably was so small. They basically used for the corridors of the Enterprise A, the corridors of the Enterprise D from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like they barely made.
They was over there set hopping.
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
To me, that's a sign that you shouldn't be making this movie.
Maybe you shouldn't be.
I said, they redeemed themselves a little bit in Star Trek 6, and again gave us the inspiration and origin of the signature sign-off for the actors that they used in Endgame. So that's why Star Trek 6 gets to stay on the list.
Yeah, so like I was searching. The reason I went to IMDb because I wanted to find that full line of that exchange between quote unquote God and Kirk. He's like, "Excuse me, what does God need with a starship?" And Bones was like, "Jim, what are you doing?" He was like, "I'm asking you a question."
That's the Almighty for his ID.
That's right. He was like, God was like, "Who is this creature?" He's like, "Who am I? Don't you know? Aren't you God?"
Yeah, Kirk It was like Kirk was so.
Yes.
That's the one thing that William Shatner brought to that role. Kirk had such just, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna ask my question because I need to ask my question.
Right.
Like, Kirk was awesome in that regard. And I know we're way off of the Star Wars thing, but however, these are two very powerful franchises in their day. Not, Star Trek not quite as powerful as Star Wars, but it's there. It's the truth, man. Come on now, let's just be real. Toys. Star Trek toys. No.
You know you're right.
Trek
the toys that made us pretty much illustrated that
during
very
the Next
well.
Generation years. Yes. That was about it. Every single, every iteration of Star Wars has had toys.
Yeah, not even Next Generation did the toys do that well. I mean, they did better than expected, but they weren't. They never
but that's
approached
what I'm
Star
saying.
Wars.
The only thing Star Trek has over Star Wars in a sense, because of the fact it was a TV series, is the deeper, more fleshed out lore. That's what they have. Because if you really look at Star Wars, now that EU is gone, you basically only have the Skywalker, the Skywalker storyline, and they're about to do obviously the Mandalorian, and then also Old Republic. That's it, though. Star Trek, man, you got the first series, you got Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Insurrection. Not Insurrection. What is it? Voyager. What's the other one? Enterprise. You have like a ton of just different, series, all these different alien races and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I will definitely give them their props on just having a deep, just insane amount of lore and all this other sort of thing. But Star Wars, merchandising wise, kills them all day, every day.
Yeah. Yep.
They do, man. Come on now. How many different versions of the Star Trek phaser have you seen out on shelves? Outside, I ain't talking about high-end collectible ones. I'm talking about just, hey, I can go buy myself a Star Trek phaser now.
Not a lot. And man, now imagine,
often, if ever.
Imagine the best thing they could have done.
Then you don't even see them. Lightsabers. I go get a lightsaber right now.
The best thing they could have done back in the day when we were kids is make a phaser laser tag game. Basically, they didn't even capitalize on that. They should have. They didn't even capitalize on that, and they didn't.
Nope.
You're right. No, they didn't.
So, like I said, and again, it's not even a knock on them in that regard. I'm just saying, if you had to put the two side by side, which one is going to make you more money?
The lightsabers.
Star Wars is going to kill it every single time.
No question. Everybody wanted lightsabers back in the day. Everybody.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, shit. I mean, I can't tell you how often I wanted one, and it's like even as much as I could care less about Phantom Menace, I wanted that damn double lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
Because again, one is more geared towards action, one is more geared towards science, and that was the main thing about it. Like Star Trek is an exploration thing. They were about tricorders and communicator pins, and phasers was like a last resort. Star Wars, blasters, now for me, lightsabers.
I love building models.
That was first and foremost.
So I love building models. So buying models of like the Enterprise and all the other ships to build, that was fun for me. But those aren't toys. You don't build those. That's a hobby enthusiast type deal.
That's what I'm saying. So the thing is, Star Trek has always been more, and I'm not even gonna say geared, but it's almost like it's more marketed towards older teenagers, adults. That was kind of their target audience in a sense, just based on what they were doing. Because it's like the jargon, all of the, just you look at, especially Next Generation. Next Generation was always dealing with either politics or it was dealing with, like you said, exploration or whatever. It wasn't necessarily getting into that action. Like the action would happen, but it was like an afterthought. It wasn't like it wasn't the first thing, you jump into. Star Wars was about the action. So it hit that lower age range, and then all the way up through people that just enjoy the stuff anyway. So I think that's part of the reason that Star Trek always was just kind of like, okay, it's a good show, it's a good, they have some good films, but it is not that marketable franchise in the same sense that a Star Wars is marketable to kids of all ages and blah blah blah. I think that's just how it was. Star Trek was just for an older audience, like Ace had just said in the chat.
Yeah. So I never saw myself sitting and watching it like watching it when I was a kid. Like it was
Right.
like, you know how everybody always said, like, you know, when it's time to go to bed when MASH comes on, like that was
Wow. Damn.
Right.
Damn. That's messed up. And on that note, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. We want to thank everybody out there in the audience that watched us this week. We'll be back next week to talk a little bit about the impending Joker release movie that we're getting ready to go see. Maybe we even snag some passes early if we get to go see it early, and we'll talk about it on the show. But so I want to thank you all for joining us again. Make sure you come back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central for the next episode of Culture Junkies Live for the Great Daddy Kuji, Fallen Marvel, GQ. I'm Kashira. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Later, y'all. Have a good night.
Say goodnight, GQ. You're not going to say goodnight?
I don't think
My
he does
silence is a good night.
Oh, wow.
Well, there
This
you
guy.
go.
Yeah, okay. See you guys.